You know, deep in the shadowy corners of the internet, where Wi-Fi signals flicker like little prayer candles, there's a new religion taking hold. It's a sacred order that's all about achieving digital godhood with, well, the least amount of effort possible. So today, let's crack open their holy texts and explore the one and only Church of Script Kiddies.
And this right here, this single question is pretty much the cornerstone of their entire belief system. It's a gospel based not on creation, but on, let's call it enthusiastic appropriation.
All right, so who exactly are these high priests of copy and paste? To really get what they're all about, we have to start at the beginning, with its totally bizarre foundation and its revered leaders.
So, legend has it, the church was founded in the mythical year of 1337 by a figure known as the prophet Nubius Maximus. And the core belief is incredibly simple. True enlightenment isn't about writing the code, it's about finding the code. Purity, in their eyes, is just reusing somebody else's hard work.
Leading the flock is the high priestess Exploitica. You can just imagine the followers gathered in their virtual pews on Discord, maybe waving incense made from burnt-out Ethernet cables, and their holiest prayer? It's a command that perfectly captures that blend of godlike power with, an absolute lack of wanting to do anything yourself.
Now, like any good, organized faith, the church has its laws, but these aren't carved into stone tablets. Nah, they're probably just cached in a browser somewhere. And let me tell you, they are something else.
The very first commandment really sets the tone for everything else to come. It declares that, "Thou shalt not code from scratch." You see, in this church, writing your own script is basically the original sin. Why bother? It's hard, it's inefficient, and honestly, it just gets in the way of more important stuff, like causing a little bit of chaos.
Their second commandment is all about paying respect to their most sacred artifact. It tells the faithful to
Honor the Metasploit framework. Okay, so Metasploit is a real, powerful tool that security professionals use for testing. But to the church, it's a gift from the digital heavens. It's a divine shortcut to power that lets you skip that whole tedious journey of, actually learning anything.
And now for what might just be the most important commandment for their long-term survival. The fifth law is,
Thou shalt not get caught. Because see, purity isn't just about avoiding work, it's about avoiding consequences. And this core belief in plausible deniability even comes with a handy little pro tip for the truly devout. When things go wrong, you know who to blame.
So, if those are the rules, how do the faithful actually practice what they preach? Well, to stay in a state of pure, blissful ignorance, they perform sacred rituals. And these are not your quiet, solemn affairs. Oh no. These are ceremonies of pure, beautiful chaos.
First up is a true masterpiece of slapstick spirituality. Now, a real buffer overflow is a pretty common and serious software bug. The church's version, though, is a bit more literal. It's all about simulating a system crash in the most physically painful way you can imagine, ending with the holy act of eating the banana to, and I quote, internalize the exploit. And what's the sacred outcome of all this? Well, you'll be so banged up you literally can't commit the sin of writing original code. In this belief system, purity is achieved through, making it physically impossible to do any work. But wait, there's more. Get ready for the puppet show port scan. A real port scan is used to check for open digital doors on a network. This ritual, however, turns that whole idea into this bizarre, crude little performance. It is the absolute perfect way to use all the right hacking words without having to understand what any of them actually mean.
And the ultimate goal here, humility. By completely sacrificing their dignity, the faithful make sure they stay grounded and never, ever get arrogant enough to become actual experts. Of course, what's a church without leaders making big promises? The gurus of this particular faith, Spiderbite and Alberto, give their followers guarantees that are about as solid as a free antivirus pop-up ad.
And their vows are just a work of art. You've got the Noob Nirvana warranty, promising you'll stay blissfully ignorant, satisfaction guaranteed. Then there's the Lulz lottery, where you can win amazing prizes that don't actually exist. But my favorite has to be the Purity Protection Plan Plus, which actively destroys any chance you might have of getting a real job. It's a full-service faith for the proudly unproductive.
Okay, so what is the point of all this? What's the real reason behind the banana peels and the sock puppets and everything else? It all comes down to the absolute core philosophy of the church, the Gospel of Lols.
This slide right here really puts it all into perspective. On one side, you've got the heretics, the so-called white hat hackers. Their power comes from deep knowledge and skill. On the other side, the faithful. Their power comes from a Python script they just copied. Where the heretics value being ethical, the faithful cherish being able to deny everything. And while one group wants to secure systems, the other is just here for the lulz, for the fun, the chaos, the sheer absurdity of it all.
And naturally, they have their patron saints. We're talking figures like Lulzsec and Anonymous. They aren't worshipped for their technical genius, but for their total commitment to chaos and for being the perfect symbols of the absurd culture that powers this whole church.
So look, while this whole church of burnt cables and banana peel exploits is obviously a parody, it kind of holds up a weird funhouse mirror to our own digital lives, doesn't it? It leaves us with a pretty interesting question. In a world built on code that most of us will never understand, how often are we all just one copied script away from joining the congregation ourselves?